What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. One thing that happened on Raw was we had Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart come out, to promote beer. And when Hogan came out, he got not a mixed reaction. Hogan got showered with booze.
Let me tell you something. First off, I spent all night trying to figure what that symbol in the corner of the ring was. Everything in my heart was like, is that the symbol for Miller Lite on the ring?
Probably could, because they got sponsors out the ass now.
Yeah. And also off point on the Hogan thing, the things in the ring was a little distracting for me. It really was.
Oh yeah, that's one that I get used to. But the thing was, Hogan was getting booed. I mean, he getting booed to the point where Netflix in the subtitles was like crowd booing. So, and people freeze frame that, and then that's when the talk came. That's when the internet talk came, because Hogan wasn't everybody, but then all of a sudden Hogan became Hogan and started saying, they booed Jimmy Hart, or they was all doing something else. Well, now it's gonna give me back my heel turn. I'm gonna get like all this shit because he butthurt about it, and to sell a beer that nobody wants. And I've been going around online, and everybody's been trying to throw that, well, they're in California. What did you expect? Or, California's a blue state because he's a Trumper. And also, can I just say something real quick?
Go right ahead.
I don't agree with Hogan's politics at all, but Hogan's politics is not the reason Hogan got booed last week.
Just say what you feel it is. I want to hear this.
Because Undertaker came out there, and him and Kane had become the MAGA brothers. And Undertaker did not get booed like Hogan got booed. Undertaker openly had Trump on his podcast. And he's still in California, which is probably the bluest state on the map. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Vermont. But California, being the blue state, still did not get booed like Hogan. So what's the reason? Here's the reason, people. And for people who don't understand it, Hulk Hogan is a terrible person. And people are over his shit. He's just not a good person. Now, you can sit there and make the argument, which you will be well in your right to do, to say that, hey, well, Undertaker supports Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is a racist and all that stuff like that. And you know what? I'll be like, you're right, he is. But to some people, unfortunately, would be wrong or not, they don't be looking at race as a moral issue. They're looking at it as like a political issue. It's not, but that's how they be looking at it. And they be like, well, I got my black friends, and so I don't look at racism, but I like him for this reason. They still didn't boo the Undertaker, and he came out for a pointless ass segment, and they didn't boo him.
Pointless.
They cheered him.
Pointless.
They didn't boo him. Hell, even I just kind of said, oh, well, here come American Badass, right? And I was just like, well, let he do his thing. But when Hogan came out, everybody said, yo, get off my screen. People, nobody.
What you
gonna say?
This felt so bad for Jimmy Hart, bro.
Yeah, bro. He was catching all the strays. It's like the gun was pointed at Hogan, but he stepped aside so Jimmy can get all the bullets.
Dog, you can see the cringe in his face. Like, oh, that wasn't supposed to happen. like he could not hide his facial expression. Like, I can't fake this.
No, you cannot actually fake this. And Hogan's sitting there and don't know why that people don't like him. And I'm just like, bruh, you don't understand that you are a terrible human being who lies all the time. Nothing out of Hogan's mouth should be believed. You're full of shit, and people ain't forget about that racist thing that you did 10 years ago. Even before that. And once again, now that could be now. Am I going to sit here and say that all the people that was booing Hogan for his politics wasn't in there? I'm not saying that's not true, but I'm saying that wasn't the majority of it. Hogan, after that thing got leaked, and they was doing interviews about it, and Hogan was just like, "Listen, I'm sorry I got caught, brother. I'm sorry. What apology is that?"
That's not an apology. That's not an apology. And I said this before. I don't know if I said it on here, but I don't have no problem saying it. I wasn't shocked that an older man that is white from deep south has acted this way. Yeah. I'm not shocked because also on top of that, I don't watch many interviews when they was like, "Oh yeah, Hogan been like this forever. Like this how he is, but he's Hogan. We couldn't touch him. So what you gonna do?"
Exactly.
What I think I am shocked is if there was anywhere that someone was going to like Hogan, it was wrestling, and they don't now. And I was like, wow. That made me feel like, wow, maybe something is changing in the way how people think for once. Wow.
Yeah, it's because I think they're over. Because here's the thing: everybody will talk about California and blue this, blue that. I'm like, let's go back to WrestleMania 37 when Hogan came out on stage with Titus O'Neil of all people, dressed as pirates, and they booed him. Do you remember where they was at? Charles, I do, but do you remember where they was at?
Was they in Tampa? Was that the one where Alexa Bliss hosted?
Florida.
Yeah.
They was in Florida. That's Hogan's home state.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the excuse then? And he was next to a black guy. What's y'all excuse then? Y'all, this was WrestleMania 37. This is even before he came out at the RNC ripping off his shirt that revealed Trump 2024. This is years before that.
Yeah, he was standing next to Titus O'Neil too, right?
Yes. So what's the excuse then? And then he got caught, and then people can sit there and say he was caught up against his will. Hogan, but people don't remember. Hogan was saying racist shit before he even got caught in 2015. In 2007, I don't know if anybody remembers the Nick Hogan incident. Do you remember that, Quadro?
Can you refresh me?
Sure. Nick Hogan was in a car accident with a guy named John. I'm going to pronounce his last name wrong, so I do apologize. It was John. Was it Granzino or Granzino? It's Grazino.
I would have said Granzino, but I say names wrong all the time.
Yeah.
But
and what happened was he was reckless driving. They got in a car accident. Nick Hogan is fine, but his friend permanently brain damage. And Hogan tries on recording comes and says that that basically this is what this kid deserved because of his belief in God.
Mm-hmm.
And that he hopes that because we're good people, and the worst thing will be for us to be reincarnated into a couple of black guys. This was 2007. 2007. The racist thing they got caught on camera because you're not supposed to be like that, right? or audio was 2015. Now, when he came to the back, Mark Henry had said this on TMZ too. He said that I tried to get Hogan to take a tour to black colleges and black things like that to be able to explain himself because believe it or not, a lot of black people love Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was wrestling. Hulk Hogan
was one of my original favorites. I'll stand on that.
Yeah,
hands down.
Hogan was the all-American superhero. Hogan was like if you are talking about just a decade like the 80s, right? There are certain people that you have to mention, or certain things you have to mention from the 80s, such as Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, right? Such as Ghostbusters, right? Such as Michael Jackson, right? Such as Prince, right? And Hulk Hogan. He transitioned wrestling, and he is part of the 80s stamp lexicon. Basically, he was everything. Like just like the 18 was in the 80s. There's just certain things that are associated with the 80s, and Hulk Hogan is one of them. And there are a lot of black people he has a lot of black fans that, or he's like, well, maybe if you go and you apologize and you tell them your side and what you plan on doing, stuff like that. But no, he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do that. Triple H.
You know what?
I'm listening.
I'm not saying this might be widely accepted, but I think a big problem on that is beyond being the idea of being apologetic, is being dismissive.
Yeah.
If you can come out on a vow, like obviously somebody feels I'm wrong for something I said, and I truly don't understand why I'm wrong. I'm not saying people will be okay with it, but just to roll over and act like it didn't happen, like, oh, forget you, it's like someone's looking down on you. Now, people really don't like that.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful.
It is.
And it's not like, and as someone that said a lot of disrespectful things, there's a difference between being unknowingly disrespectful and actively disrespectful. It's coming off as actively disrespectful, which is worse.
Yes. And I agree with everything you just said. And also with that being said, I understand that if he had did it probably like a little PR stuff, so people probably wouldn't help much anyway. But there has been no concession to try and to be better than what you were. You were just like hoping this whole thing blow over. That's what everybody be hoping to do. That it just blows over. And then when he got back, and I don't know, once again, I don't want to put words in Triple H's mouth or anything like that, but when they would say, why don't you go back and talk to the black wrestler? Well, I gotta talk to everybody, brother. And then he goes out there and talks to everybody and gives an apology with my fingers up to the point where, hold on. You may have to mute your phone because I think I hear some interference when I'm talking. But okay, thank you. He goes and apologizes to the locker room where Titus O'Neil had said, I was back there, and it was a insincere, a callous ass apology to the point where it's just like, don't get caught, brother. He don't care. And he just like, all right, well then fine, it's whatever. I get to do it. And not like I said, he does all this shit. That he lie about everything, and that he wants to make himself look great in the grand scheme of things. And he bullshit. People just tired of his bullshit. People tired of his bullshit. I'm about to say, if you was worth any grain of salt, if you had any mind at all, the whole Trump thing is not surprising for Hulk Hogan. But people didn't like that before them. People just been done with Hogan. I'm done with Hogan. Like, go ahead, do your thing. He gonna go around there and do his little body poses. He's still putting you in video games, and you're still doing a little media thing. First of all, you could barely walk out there in the first place, but people just tired of your shit. And then to go out there and sell a beer that nobody wants. First of all, I'd rather get Stone Cold's IP because he's a beer drinker. I don't want Hulk Hogan's beer.
Also, I want to let you know that that Stone Cold, the IPA, pretty good. Okay. Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm like, I would drink that before I drink Hulk Hogan's beer. Like, bro, no, we done. So y'all can say the Trump shit all y'all want to when y'all was out there still cheering The Undertaker, who has made it known. Okay, so him and his brother Kane, right? You know, they have made it known, and so I call them the MAGA brothers. So since they on there, but Kane could have still came out and they still could have cheered. It's you, Hogan. It's you. The people may sit there and talk about something, you know, they may not feel as strongly about the racist remarks, or it could just be, you know, us black people on this podcast just complaining about it. I'm just like, well, bro, it wasn't 17,000 black people in that audience. And you can sit there, it didn't have to be all 17,000 people that was booing him, but shit, 15,000 out of that 17,000 booing him still was loud enough. And all of them 15,000 people ain't black people, ain't Democrats. It's just regular people who want to join a wrestling show who's sick and tired of Hulk Hogan. I'm sick and tired of it. I don't listen to any of his interviews no more or anything about the story because he's full of shit. Full of it. Every time I watch the McMahon documentary and his part camp, my eyes just roll because I'm like, I'm sick of it. I don't need to hear the story of WWE and Hogan, okay? He got, you know, he basically got Jesse Ventura fired when they was trying to unionize the boys, and he would abuse his power to get anything he wanted to and to create control and shit like that. We was over Hogan right now. And this ain't no return for no heel turn or this is going to be a new Hogan or he going to come back in there. Stop trouting his ass out there. Let it go.
I want to say don't think I won't be a fan of Hulk Hogan during that time. I'm not afraid to say I loved Hogan during that time. Eat your vitamins, all that. I mean, of course, as I get farther in life and you learn the backstage of it, you just like, bro, that's horrible, bro. I can't believe you was just using the business like that. But still, from what you saw on screen of Hogan, that time I'm a fan. Him coming, the match against The Rock at WrestleMania, was a fan. The more you learn about the backstage of this person, it's really what they're saying, don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Because it's like, are you trying to make me dislike you? Come on, man. Like,
yeah, no, it's
I need you. It would be awesome if you just like. Obviously, the people don't agree with me. Help me understand why. Admit something happens. Just don't act like I'm stupid. That's not okay.
No, it's not. But it's like, but what can you expect? He got what he deserves. Like, you keep bringing his ass out there, and y'all shit. I mean, Hogan has his fans. He's always going to have his big ass fans, whatever the case may be. But right now, majority people over his shit. Move on. Next, then I need his ass out there. Especially associated with Raw to sell a beer that he couldn't even really rip the shirt off for the show.
I'm also gonna say. I do think his theme is still a banger though. The Real American.
Look, everybody love the song. Theme, everybody love the song. Everybody can't get. I mean, it's one of the greatest wrestling theme songs of all time. He's still an asshole.
I mean, he stole it from Pat Patterson, but let's not talk about that.
Oops.